Alright, welcome to December 5th webinar on science apps, iPad apps for the science classroom. And the one thing I want to show you right away, you've located this in the archived webinars. Next to the name here, you're going to see a link that will say List of Apps. You click on that, and up will come a list of some of the apps that you'll see today. Probably won't get through all of these obviously in 20-25 minutes, but we'll get through some of them. And if you're just curious what they are, go ahead and install them. Most of them are free, I believe. Some of them might be paid, but most of them were free actually when I got them. It doesn't mean they're still free. Alright, how we're going to end up running here is you're going to see an image right here of my iPad. And so through the list here, you can get a chance, or by looking here and seeing some of the apps that are currently on here. Now, I'm not a science teacher. I have had a chance to go through and play with some of them. Pretty neat. Some of them are really neat. There's some pretty cool science ones out there. I do warn that there are some pretty bad science ones out there as well. And there's certain science ones that aren't going to be here that you use in your classroom. I'd love to hear about those and just email them to me so I can keep compiling a list of apps. And so I'm just going to pick out a few here to show you today. Some general science, some elementary, some high school, some middle school, and the glory of this being recorded is you can fast forward through things if you don't want, or hit pause right here on the screen to see some of the apps right now, and go and download them on your own. You can be playing with your iPad as I go along here, downloading, installing some of the apps, or hit pause, install one of the apps that I'm showing, and then get a chance to play around with it a little bit. A lot of video stuff, and so I warn with that with your IT person, just with the amount of bandwidth and things that it would be used up. And so I just warn that there is a lot of video stuff in some of these. I'm going to go kind of left to right here throughout this folder of science apps. And so the first one we're going to show here is Science House Video Science. Kind of a little app. It's nothing that's going to knock your socks off to start here, but basically it gives you a chance to show some different. So we want hovercraft here. It'll give us a little example, and there's a little video up here, and so we can hit play on the video.
Science House, and I wanted to show you this is just a simple toy that could be converted into a science toy. It's a little hovercraft that floats around on a layer of air. If you're teaching about friction and forces, it's a nice thing to have in the.
Okay, and so something as simple as that to just kind of have available on your students' iPads to just look at, or if you're going to show something, could be used to supplement. And so take a look at the different things. There's a little bit there. It's not a lot for example, but there's quite a bit there to go off of and to supplement. The next one here is actually a science glossary. So if you search Science Glossary in your iTunes store, this will come up. Could be pretty handy for any science classroom as well. Although a dictionary might do the same thing, but a science glossary is kind of nice to be able to go through. So if I want something in P, I can just click on the P there, and I'm interested in what pH is, for example. And so it'll run me through the definition of it, give me some words where else it appears. It appears in acids and bases. And so I can click on that. And it'll actually, this actually brings me to a website, talks about acids and bases, and questions, quizzes, links on acids and bases, things like that. So going back to the glossary, that'd be a good way. You can click on these blue ones to send you within the article, or within the app. This right here is going to send you outside of the app into the website, the Vision Learning website. But pretty extensive list of science terminology, science names. They might not everything's going to be in there, of course, but you know, it might pique your interest or be at least somewhat a place to start when you're looking at things with vocab. See how things are related, you know, down here. It appears in the following modules. Another way to make somebody go further by going, you know, into the website and then digging in a little bit here as well. And so kind of a neat little app there for the science classroom is Science Glossary. Now I will be going rather quickly through some of these, so you know, hit pause and play around a little bit and move on. Or if you don't like that or you've seen that, just fast forward till you see this next screen. Next one is basically a converter, and what this one can do, and it'll just actually tell you exactly what it'll do. Let me change the brightness here a little bit. Is if you can kind of see some of it, it'll just tell you that you can drag to select. So if we have time, and if I go like that, liquid, volume, gallons up here on top, can change a gallon to a liter. And then if you actually end up turning it the other way, and then we go back here, it looks just a little bit different back there as well. You can send things, you can tweet things if you have answers, whatnot. Just a way to kind of convert. If you need to convert speed, radioactivity, I'll just go through some of these so you get a chance to see what it is. Pressure, power, mass, length, illuminance, fuel, force, energy, density, data size, data rate, currency. So this is kind of a different one to show you. So if I want to change a euro, a US dollar to a euro, you can add. So basically it'll tell you that $2.50 will equal 1.87 euros. You can flip that around. 2.5 euros will equal $3.35. So, or $3.35. And so, kind of a way as a converter of anything. Not sure what the alien does, but maybe randomizes it. And so, kind of a neat little tool there to have on your website or on your iPad as well. And that was called Convex. I believe I got that one free through the Freebies app, and so something to keep your eye out. It does come through free every once in a while. Not all the time, but it will. That one's just Convex. There's also a lot of different converters out there, but that one's a nice visual one. Next science one here is called LeafSnap. And what this one does is will actually identify leaves and different things about trees here. And I'm just going to back it out just a little bit so you can see and refocus. And so what you can do, you can actually search by nearby location if things have already been categorized. And so nothing's been categorized here except for a red maple by the hospital. And so you can see that that's been categorized and put into LeafSnap. You can also use your camera. Now it's not the easiest to see, to snap a picture of a leaf, and it will actually do its best to identify that leaf and that tree. And so once you come into it, or you can search by this way. So if you want, it's kind of blurry. Still blurry. And so if you want, this is a black ash. I can click on that, and actually over on the right hand side here you can run through See, what does the fruit look like? What does the actual leaf look like, or leaves? What does it look like on the tree? Things like that. Also gives you a nice little scale at the bottom. A great way to be able to identify trees if you're doing something like that, or identify leaves, plants. So LeafSnap is actually, I was pretty amazed by trying it out. Just install it. This one was free too at one point. Hopefully it still is. If it isn't, make sure you watch for it coming across if you use the Freebies app or through the App Store. Alright, moving on here. Let's go into Go Skywatch is a paid app now. Basically, for stars, you point it up to the sky, and you'll be able to see constellations, planets, things like that. And so that's what Go Skywatch is. The NASA app, I like this app. It's one that I actually do check every once in a while, just to check out what's either going on NASA TV. You can see NASA TV. It's actually live TV. And so whatever they're showing on NASA TV right now is on there. Kind of interesting. Got some pretty neat pictures to go through as well. And you can actually just hit play and they'll cycle through. So a lot of different pictures there. And kind of the same boat here. See, this one, last one was taken today. Or not today. Yes, that was. And so by date, some of them are just neat photos, and it talks about the photos a little bit. There's some pretty cool videos. You can follow the NASA tweets, things that are featured if you want to go through and see their featured stories. Or you can just simply, if I want to know about Jupiter, I can click on Jupiter and get a chance to go through and see some of the different features about Jupiter. So pretty interesting, a lot of different tools to use up above. NASA app, awesome app to have on your iPad in a science classroom if you even if you don't do anything with space or anything like that, be a good app to still have. 3D medical images is more so just interesting than anything. You get a chance to see just different images in close up and different types of, kind of got some cool pictures in it kids would be interested to see. Talks about it a little bit too. You can save them as your wallpaper. The next one here is the not just for chemistry, but is the Khan Academy. And what the Khan Academy is, if you're not familiar with it, is basically videos. Videos on different topics. And so this happens to be chemistry, and he's going through here. Solomon Khan is the one that's doing it. But if you want introduction to the atom, so chemistry 1, just 20 different lessons there for chemistry. I also have biology, big in math. If you go online and just Google the Khan Academy, or you type in Khan, K-H-A-N, this will come up. And so pretty cool app there. This one's just on chemistry. There's also, like I said, many other different ones. Just type K-H-A-N into the App Store Academy and see what you get. Science Lab. Not the greatest app, I'll tell you that right now, but some different things that you can do with vocab quizzes. Ask a question. and you can answer questions, you get scores. So just some quizzes there on some different things. So that one is called Science Lab. It does have ads on the bottom of it, just so you're aware. Science 360 is another video type of app for science. Takes a little bit to load up. Again, has some pretty stunning pictures that really uses the high-res iPad, the screen on the iPad, to show some pretty awesome movies and pictures. And so, as you can see here, what this is a list of just a bunch of videos. Now you have to browse around a little bit, but you can also, so if I tap with two of my fingers, I can actually go through and see different options and actually search through them in different ways. So if I want to do it by news, you can do it by tag. And so, for instance, if I want something on bats, I'll click on that, and here's my movie on bats as it loads up. And again, really stress that a lot of videos is going to eat up a lot of bandwidth, but something little, one or two in your classroom running on it, not a bad idea. So that's Science 360. A lot of videos, and again, the best way to browse through it is to, with both of your fingers, tap the screen, hit the tags button right here, and then it's kind of dark or bright. There's your video. So kind of a neat way to feed through all the videos there. iQuake Lite, if you're studying earthquakes, you can see all the most recent earthquakes around the world. Kind of more of a information app more than anything. So you can see this is on December 5th at 1:28. A magnitude 5.7 earthquake off of Indonesia. And so you can see that, a red one or orange, it goes by severity. You can see quake lists. Just click on that and you can see how many earthquakes, just looking on December 5th, had happened today, and how deep they were and where they occurred. So kind of a neat little tool there as well. You can also, next one would be Science Hub. And while this one loads up, what you see here now is, and again it's kind of dark, but we'll go to context, and now you can go through a list of different things. So we just talked about earthquakes. I can click on earthquakes. Up above here you see it says, let me make it a little bit brighter, intro, so we'll talk about earthquakes, video, more videos on it. So here's all your videos on earthquakes, images, so all the different pictures you're going to have on earthquakes. So a variety of different topics through this one. This one's called Science Learning Hub. A bunch of topic-based things as well. Kind of going to skip ahead here. Here's 3D cells. So if you're studying cells, it'll allow you to do things that you can stain your cell, or you can just explore a cell, a 360-degree view, play around with it a little bit. Kind of a neat way to explore the cell other than paper and pencil. So that one was called 3D Cell Stain. Next one is you have some questions about electricity circuits. Kind of a neat app here. This is parallel circuits, and so if you want to, so here's the app. Then you hit play. Whoops, hit the wrong button. I'm going to hit play here. And what I'm going to have to do, I'm just going to skip the intro, is make a circuit. And so So I'm going to take this, I'm going to drop it in.
Remove a circuit component from the circuit.
So there's my circuit. I hit done.
If one of the bulbs is removed from the circuit you have constructed,
And it'll go through and I'll ask you some questions. Kind of neat.
remove one of the light bulbs.
So I can move one of the lights and it still goes. And so creating circuits, it has the diagram up above, things like that, to show you different types of setups, things like that, to show circuits. And so there's a couple of those. There's parallel circuits, serial bulbs, light. You can buy the full versions if you want. The free versions seem to be alright. Next one here is lab timer. And so if you need something with multiple timers, even not just in a science lab, I guess, but anything, you can use different timers. So just a lab timer, nothing that's terribly going to be exciting, but nonetheless it's something that is there for a tool at least. And so a couple apps there that are pretty neat. I'm not going to end there, but I'm just going to move on to the next folder. So here's another folder here of science apps, if you so choose to take a look at. Not going to look at all these either, but a couple of them might pique your interest. Obviously a periodic table in science would be fairly important. So there's your periodic table. You also have options here at the bottom. They're hard to see, but details about certain things, about the symbol, about the name, about the family. Goes through all its information there. So that's just a periodic table. There's a dime a dozen of those on in the App Store. Next one is the Sizeometer. This is actually an iPod app, excuse me. But and so as I hold it straight, and all I have to do is I can bang my desk, and you can see it moves just like if we're in an earthquake, and even just the slightest move or the bigger move. Okay, so Sizeometer, pretty neat little app to show kind of what a sizeometer is and what it does. Molecules, a different little app that allows you to see different molecules and actually play around with them a little bit. Spin them around. I have a list of them. You just hit the plus sign up above there. You can type in whatever. If you're looking for one, hit it. It'll download it into your list there, and then it pops up. So if you're talking about molecules, it'd be a good way to kind of visualize what it is and what it looks like. Yep. That one went through kind of fast. Discovery Channel, can never forget about the Discovery Channel there. They have a neat app out for looking at their different shows or whatever. And so videos, photos, if you need to. Mythbusters is on there. Obviously not all the shows are probably appropriate, but Mythbusters, a good science show to take a look at on the Discovery Channel, and also in maybe any different specials that they do. The Human Atlas is fairly interesting as well. This is the free version. It's the Blossom Human Atlas, and so we'll click on it, and actually down below here you can see where it says human body. We'll click on that, and it allows you to now take a look at the human body, rotate them through, rotate them around, identify things that way, male or female over here on the left. Also have your glossary of some terms, now obviously not the full terms, but gives you a chance to look at some of this stuff here too. You can also Chem Safety, chemical safety, gives you different chemicals and the safety information about those chemicals. Maybe something handy to have on your science one if you're interested in, so you can see what to do if something happens with any of those chemicals. Now, a couple of one of my favorite elementary apps is one that my daughter has, and it's called World Book World of Animals. Great app if you're studying different animals around the world, different types of animals. Before I show you how to actually go through and categorize different things, let's just run into, for instance, let's take a look at what a badger. And so I clicked on badger, and here it gives me all its information about it, fun facts, name of the male, name of the female, name of the kid, what the youngs are called, different pictures, and different videos as well. And so I can click play in there. I can see a badger and burrow, what they actually look like. And go back, and if you take a look here, the list is rather extensive. And so what we're going to do, we want to be able to categorize that. I click on this little 4 thing up here. And so if I want to just birds, I click on birds, and here pops up all the birds. And again, so let's take a look at the owl. Some of them have sounds. And again, a lot of pictures. Be able to see what they look like. You can compare animals side by side. You can read more. Let's give you more information. So that's the World Book World of Animals. Great tons and tons of animals. You can search actually up here too. Random animals. You can rank them. So if you want to see by weight, living animals by weight. So the whale. I want to see what the whale does. Sound. Different video. So kind of a neat app all the way around there for kids to explore through. My daughter loves it. She's 3. Loves going through that as animals. Don't forget too that the cool part about this, the iPad, is a lot of different, if you want to go to websites with the iPad too. And so can't forget that although those apps sometimes are either very limiting in what they can do, or they're very specific in what they can do, you can also access the internet with it. And so internet scavenger hunts, or just saying, you know, go out to Discovery Channel, even though they have an app, you might as well check out their website and see what they have on their website. Or the NASA website. Now some of them will say they have an app and then download the app. And so don't forget that it's a web device as well, not just apps. And so as we get stuck on apps all the time, although some of them are very good, some are not so good, you also have the web to also go to. One last one as a teacher. If you're not familiar with Socrative, S-O-C-R-A-T-I-V-E, you can go online and check out what Socrative.com is, sign up for an account, and be able to use your iPads as clickers in the classroom for formative assessment. And so there's actually 2 apps. There's a teacher app and also a student app that would need to go on the student iPads as well. And so different things there to keep in mind as well. And so again, kind of went through some of the apps fast and showed you some of them. Some of them aren't new. I realize that. Some of them are might be new to you. Some of them you just want to check out. If you don't like them, you can delete them. And so video science, science glossary. Again, check out that list of apps on the MRVED site. And so I'll show you that one more time here. And so you have a list of apps that will be next to the archived webinar. So where it says list of apps, click on that, and away you go with the list of apps, and just type these words into your app store. See what comes up, download them. If you don't like them, you can delete them. If they don't fit your needs, delete them. But some of those general science apps will actually be pretty beneficial for a student maybe that finishes early, needs a little extra help, or just needs a little push to pique their interest. Just some of those general videos, science things might pique their interest. So thanks for tuning in today. Apologize that it didn't work right away on the MRVED site, but nonetheless we got our archive for you, and you can be able to use this. Play, pause as you choose. Like I said, a good thing there. Just if you saw an app, hit pause on the video here and go along. So thanks for tuning in, and the next webinar will come December 19th, I believe. Let me check my calendar. December 19th, we're going to do cool new apps and some games to play for the holidays before the break. And so December 19th, the next webinar. Obviously like to hear your feedback, whether or not this was beneficial to you. Even if you're watching it as archived, it's always nice to hear that somebody watched it and got something out of it. So you can email me here at braymo@mnrved.k12.mn.us. And so I look forward